I just found out something crazy. If you randomly put 3 people together in one room here in the United States, only one of those people will have more than $1,000 in their savings account. In 2019, GoBankingRates did a survey asking Americans how much money they had in their savings account. And the results are getting worse and worse because 69% of people polled said that they have less than $1,000 to their name. That means 2/3 of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. But how can that be? The stock market is at an all-time high. The real estate market is climbing higher and higher, and the economy is doing great. And when asked during that same survey what reason people gave for having so little, they answered because cost of living was keeping Americans down. Now, being a financial minimalist myself, I know life can be expensive, but it doesn't have to be expensive. And I think the real reason is, at the risk of upsetting 2/3 of people watching this video, is because of our inability to delay gratification. So I wanted to make this video to show you how you can save 50% of your income so that you can build a 6-figure portfolio like I have in just 4 short years with a very average salary. I'm excited to get started, and to show you how to do it, I want to introduce you to a very special person who did exactly that. Hello, love.
Hello.
This is Corey. She was able to save 50% of her income, earning a very average US American salary. But before we get into all the numbers, first, who are you?
Who are you? Is it Harry Potter, right?
What?
No.
No. How did you and I meet? Whenever people ask this at a party, we just don't know how to answer. Should we tell the truth or should we just lie? And now that I've built it up, it sounds way worse. Like, where'd you guys meet, at a dungeon?
Yes.
Yes, that is. Okay, 3, 2, Tinder. Yeah, we met on Tinder. It's the digital age, people. Now, Tinder's like...
Oh, don't say it. Don't define it.
You know exactly what Tinder's all about. But sometimes you'll get to meet friends and you're like, oh, this person's cool. They'll be my friend. And other times you're like, I could see myself dating this person. And so we just happened to, date. And now here we are 4 years later.
Cool.
Cool story, brah.
My mom still thinks we met at college.
At college?
Yeah.
Now she knows that she doesn't watch these videos.
Maybe she wants to save half her income.
And speaking of saving half of your income, Corey, what do you do for a living?
I am a stripper. No.
Nice, because we're in Vegas. What else are you gonna do without a degree?
I do event planning.
Event planning, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Be more specific.
No, I don't want to do Pacific.
No, you don't want to do Pacific? All right, we'll do Atlantic. I don't know. Here's the most uncomfortable question that I'm sure everybody wants to know, that nobody ever talks about, especially in the workforce. How much money do you make? What do you make?
It was $49,800.
49,800. You look like you just made that number. You're like a 49,800. Was it really?
Yeah.
Okay, 49,000. So basically $50,000 a year, which is a very average US income for the job that you do. But most jobs that pay this much, they require college degrees. Do you have a degree?
Yes.
Now, I don't, but did you have to get a degree to have your job?
No, I don't. I didn't have to have a degree to have my job.
So why did you go to college and get a degree?
Yeah, I have one. Yeah, I went thinking that I need one for a high-paying job.
Because your mom and dad said you have to.
Yeah, and so did the school system.
But you don't have any debt, do you?
No.
You paid it off?
Yes.
At the worst, how much did you owe?
Well, I mean, I had help from my parents to pay for school.
Rich girl. How much did you owe?
With help from my parents?
Yes.
About $1,000.
$1,000, that's it?
Yeah.
Now, I know most people at this point are gonna pause the video and be like, nah,
yeah,
she had help.
Back at my income of $12,000 a year.
So you held a job and you were paying for it yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you want to dismiss her and say, well, she had help from her parents, she technically didn't need to go to college to be where she's at right now. In fact, she would have gotten there earlier had she spent those 4 years maybe working towards being where she is today.
Yeah, and my parents are not rich. They were very hardworking, and they were...
Yeah, they're very middle class.
Yeah.
By the way, by the way, are you scared that your employer might fire you?
No, I'm not.
You're
scared.
not.
No.
There was a rumor created by corporations that you cannot share your income or else you'd be fired. In fact, in my last job, there was a clause in my contract, which was pretty much non-compete, that said I was not allowed to share my income with anyone else, with any other coworkers or anyone outside the company ever.
Nice.
Which is crazy because that is actually unlawful, because the NLRA, the National Labor The National Labor Relations Act, which was established in 1935, protects you from being discriminated or fired against sharing in the public workforce exactly how much you get paid. But companies do that, obviously, so that they can pay somebody less than someone else without them knowing, so that they can save money. If you want to share this stuff with your coworkers or ask them, it's fair game, and they legally cannot fire you for doing so. So, TIL, today I learned.
Today I learned.
Today I learned. So the next follow-up question then is, how were you able to save 50% of your income when at this moment in time, 2/3 of Americans don't have $1,000 to their name? How is it you were able to save $25,000 after taxes in 1 year? Like, how are you able to do that? If somebody's making a similar amount that you are, maybe we can give some actionable advice to how they can get there too. And we can do that by starting with the big three: food, travel, and
makeup.
By the way, as a guy, I learned that being a girl, you spend a lot more money on things that I didn't know about as a dude. But it's harder to save money for women just because you spend so much money on things that guys don't even have to think about.
I mean, I don't have to think about putting makeup on, but I do have to think about the once a month, how do I put it nicely?
I think we got it.
Okay, that's something that happens once a month.
Yeah, that stuff is expensive. But the third thing I was gonna say is your housing, right? Like how much you pay for your house. So those are the big three expenses. That's what we're gonna break down and see exactly how much you pay, where we shop, and how she's able to save 50% of her income. So starting with number one, and that is your food.
Love food.
I love food. Okay, so how much do you spend on food then?
Per week, probably 20 to 30.
$20 to $30? Okay, if I'm watching this video right now, I would pause it and be like, no, no way. No, I don't believe that. You
I eat top
yourself?
ramen.
I eat top ramen. Yeah, I just eat noodles for a living. No, but seriously, how do you pay $25 to $30 per week? How does that work?
That's basically just like the essentials, fruit, vegetables, oatmeal stuff, but I really just stock up on my company's employee dining room. So I'm just become like a chef there.
That must be nice.
It's not always the best options, but you have to make the best out of it.
Yeah, because she sometimes comes home and complains like, oh, EDR food sucks.
That's when I first started. But now I'm like, oh my God, it's saving me so much money.
Where do you and I go shopping? Because we leave out the bougie stuff like Whole Foods and organic food. Nah, son, it ain't about that. When we feel adventurous, we go to like the 99-cent store.
I like going to a store that has the shopper card.
Yeah.
Where you can get like points and that goes towards the gas you buy. So, so you save on top of that.
We go to Smith's a lot.
Smith's.
And they offer that little card and you scan it, you get little discounts, and then it can also go towards gas. And if you're a family, if you're just watching this, you're like, wow, but they're single people without kids. Because insert excuse here. You can go to Sam's Club, right?
Sam's Club.
But as far as actionable advice goes, buying in bulk is one of the most amazing ways to save money, but we just shop at places like Smith's and Walmart. I don't buy grapes in the winter time.
We buy great value.
we buy great value brands. Yeah, we stay away from everything like that, and we eat pretty healthy. We cook at home, and that's a huge money saver. And then we go to number two, which is travel. So that is basically your car expense, or how you get from point A to point B. But the car that Corey drives, or drove, up until like a few weeks ago, was a Ford Focus. What year?
2005.
2005.
Ford Focus ZX3.
Two-door.
A
two-door.
It's a sporty little RC car.
Ooh, that car, I'm telling you, we drove it to the ground. Like, it would not drive anymore. Like, the door latches just broke. You couldn't even enter the car from the driver's side. You had to go through the passenger side and crawl through the seat to get to the driver's side. Everything was broken on it.
It's been 7 years. That's
so you've driven that since like high school?
High school.
Dang. So we sold the car for
$600. I know that sounds like a steal.
Cause it is.
Like we gave it away, but really, I think that was a nice fair price because the transmission probably needs replacing.
It did.
And it had a check engine light.
You would like rev it and it would go to like 30 miles per hour and then the mile thing wouldn't move and you'd just be like, boom.
Yeah, it would just kick.
It would just kick and fart and then you'd get past it. We drove that car forever. How much were you paying for it? It was paid off, obviously.
Yeah, fully paid. The only thing, the insurance was $70 a month.
And for your gas, you paid like $20 or $30 a month?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the third biggest expense is?
House. So the way I was able to save so much from housing is, you've mentioned before, like we split rent 3 ways. Baseline, what I pay, what I'm responsible for is $475. And then I also pay internet, which is $76. For such a big house, how much?
2,000 square foot house is being divided by 3 people. And so if you can house hack as a renter, you know, you don't have to own the house, but house hacking is this brilliant thing where you can live in one unit, rent out the other. We're kind of doing that by living in one part of the house by renting out different parts to each other.
Yeah.
So because we live together, and the rent is only $1,400, like I'll cover the rest of it for electric and gas. Averages $150 a month here in Vegas for internet.
That's on me. It's already pretty low though.
Well, it's not low. Cox sucks. It's still like
Cox sucks.
It does. Telecommunications companies are not the best. They form monopolies. They charge us too much money to have them. And there's really not that many other options to go to.
Yeah.
And Cox is one of the biggest ones here, so that's why we're kind of forced to use it.
Don't take this for granted. Save the other half that you're not spending. Like friends that I know, like they're spending, you know, $1,200 a month for an apartment. That sucks, in my opinion.
Right.
Well, it's so hard to say this. Like I can't picture myself paying that much in an apartment. Like I'd really love to live with a roommate and like split it that way.
Yeah, it's way better to live in a fancier, nicer house and split it with somebody than to live in a crappy apartment by yourself and pay twice as much. I think that's a huge contribution to why you were able to save so much, because if you were paying $1,000 a month, which is pretty average here for Vegas for an apartment, you'd be paying 12 grand a year.
Yeah. Well, it's a different story. Like if I had kids, I'd be okay with paying that much for their protection and seclusion.
Still rather live with a roommate that you trust. You live in a nicer place, in a nicer area, and you get to save more money. Win-win. House hacking. It's amazing. Do whatever you have to conquer your mental self. Like for me, it's, you know, sometimes buying things that look fancy, but that are really not. But you have to trick yourself first into overcoming your need to always have to spend money or look fancy or whatever it is. And as soon as you master yourself, which is some weird Zen thing to say from this futuristic Zen millennial thing, but if you can master yourself, Neo, then you can really save a ton of money. I'm all about, you know, like spreadsheets and tracking your expenses and your income, and I'm very disciplined when it comes to approaching finances. Corey, on the other hand, is completely the opposite. She does not track her...
No, I don't.
No, you don't. She doesn't.
I want to say I keep it like a mental note.
You do, and you're very good at remembering things, but you don't see things in front of you. You're not like, oh, this month I spent this much, this month I spent that much. You don't do that.
No.
And yet you are still able to save a ton of money, which goes to show you it's all about just yourself. It's all about conquering yourself. You're saving $25,000 per year off of $50K per year after taxes, which is something I was never able to do. But when I was doing it, I was able to save 100 grand in just 4 short years. So if you can keep this up, you will get to $100,000 net worth cash saved up in your bank account if you continue this for 3 more years. How incredible is that? Start working on it. Some other things I want to quickly mention in this video that we did not cover, and that is the cost of living is going to play a huge role in determining how much money you can save. If you live in a city like LA, New York, or San Francisco, you're basically just bleeding money, so get out of there as soon as possible. I know it's cool to live in those cities, but you know what? Vegas is cool too. I like it. Other cities are awesome. And chances are your job skills are transferable to a different part of the country or even a different part of the world, because that's the economy we live in today. So if you can make that sacrifice and that compromise to live somewhere else, you'll be so surprised how much faster you can save money if you also follow all the other tips that we provided in this video. Another thing that's gonna help you out a lot, that sometimes I get comments on my videos like, well, you have no idea what you're talking about, kid. Wait until you experience divorce. So pick a partner that's gonna help you out in life, who's gonna help you stay on track, who's gonna contribute to your well-being financially. And that's why we get to save 50% of our income by living together and paying for rent, for food, and all the other stuff together, because we split all the bills, and that's gonna help you out so much. Don't pick a partner who has completely opposite spending habits, who always wants stuff and vacations. You are not gonna save money, and chances are you'll probably get a divorce later in life, because money is the #1 reason people get a divorce. So pick your partner carefully. That's really gonna help out a lot. If you can implement all of these tips, you are gonna be amazed by how fast you can save your money. So focus on those big wins, increase your salary, cut out unnecessary expenses, pick a good partner in life, and you'll do just great. I've delayed my gratification long enough, so I'm gonna ask you to smash the like button for the algorithm so that more and more people can see this video. Love you guys. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Subscribe.
I'm gonna let you finish.
Let you
We gotta go walk our dog, I think. That's why I'm thinking about this.
Over meadows, inside sprung grass.